Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 1 of September 2025. The Reserve Bank of India increased gold reserves over US Treasury bills. This move aims to strengthen foreign exchange holdings. India's US T-bill investments decreased compared to last year. However, India remains a top investor, ahead of Saudi Arabia and Germany. This shift reflects a global trend of diversifying reserves beyond the dollar. China also reduced its US T-bill holdings. A new report suggests that losses from US tariffs on Indian textiles could be offset by increased exports to the UK, thanks to the recent India-UK FTA. Ongoing EU trade negotiations may further boost India's textile trade. While textile exports are expected to decline, government support and growth in yarn and fabric exports could mitigate the impact. Consumer firms and retailers face uncertainty due to delayed GST rate revisions coinciding with the festive season and Shraddh period, impacting purchase decisions. Auto companies urge the government to expedite notification of revised rates to avoid stalled sales before Navratri. Companies are preparing for a potential demand surge by adjusting supply chains and inventory management. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has issued a circular providing technical clarifications to the cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework applicable to regulated entities. The circular introduces the principles of exclusivity and equivalence to address cases where entities operate under the jurisdiction of multiple regulators. SEBI has also refined the definitions of critical and non-critical systems, ensuring that regulated entities can correctly categorize their IT infrastructure. With plans to drive up average order values or AOVs by selling big ticket items not working out, quick commerce players have reverted to the tried and trusted sale of groceries and consumer staples. It was never going to be easy given the costs, inventory constraints, and delivery logistics. In January, Blinkit started 10-minute deliveries of laptops, monitors, and printers in the metros. Later, both Blinkit and Zepto were offering the MacBook Air, iPads, and AirPods in select cities. But things didn't go quite as expected. Amid the government's ban on online money games, Mobile Premier League or MPL is planning to lay off 60% of its local workforce, citing the banned paid games as the reason, according to Reuters. The report mentioned that the company would let go of around 300 of its 500 India staff from the domains such as marketing, finance, operations, engineering, and legal. MPL is a gaming platform based in Bengaluru that previously hosted games involving financial stakes and prize money. US President Donald Trump has threatened pharmaceutical import tariffs of up to 200%, a move that experts warn could raise drug costs and create shortages across the United States. Analysts say stockpiling may delay pain until 2027, but generics and low-income patients would suffer most. India's exporters have been excluded from immediate enforcement. Courts have questioned the administration's authority, and the issue may reach the Supreme Court. The policy forces a choice between reshoring production and preserving affordable access. Blackstone may soon enter India's green energy sector. They are in talks with Parag Sharma to launch a renewable energy platform. Sharma previously sold O2 Power to JSW Energy. Blackstone plans to invest at least $500 million in this venture. This move aligns with India's goal of 500 gigawatt renewable energy by 2030. Insurance companies are increasingly competing with banks by offering secured personal loans to policyholders totaling rupees 1.4 lakh crore, comparable to bank loans against fixed deposits. These short-term loans with rates from 8.5% to 10.5% allow policyholders to access funds without surrendering their policies. Banks are grappling with a surge in fraud linked to deposit accounts, surpassing loan accounts in risk. The rise of mule accounts used for money laundering has prompted stricter KYC processes and enhanced transaction monitoring. The RBI's Mule Hunter.ai initiative and increased staff training aim to combat this growing threat as banks balance customer acquisition with fraud prevention. Deutsche Bank is considering selling its Indian retail banking assets, encompassing 17 branches, as part of a broader strategy to enhance profitability. The bank has invited bids from both domestic and international lenders, setting an August 29 deadline for initial offers. This move aligns with Deutsche Bank's plan to reduce its retail workforce and branch network globally. Hitachi Energy is investing rupees 300 crore to expand its Mysuru plant, doubling the production of high-quality press board and laminated board. This investment is part of a larger rupees 2,000 crore plan to meet rising global demand for transformer insulation materials. Following the recent meeting between Modi and Xi, Indian and Chinese companies are actively pursuing joint ventures in sectors like electronics and automobiles. Higher stake sale in its Indian subsidiary is gaining momentum, while Dixon Technologies anticipates approvals for joint ventures. The auto sector expects eased import restrictions, fostering a positive sentiment among Chinese companies towards India. Airtel Africa is gearing up to list its mobile money business Airtel Money in the first half of 2026, potentially valuing it at over $4 billion. The company has appointed Citigroup as an advisor for the IPO, aiming to capitalize on growing investor interest in African fintech. The CBDT has extended income tax exemptions for sovereign wealth and pension funds investing in India's infrastructure until March 31, 2030. This move, formalized after an earlier announcement, aims to attract long-term capital by exempting these funds from taxes on dividends, interest and capital gains. Indian automakers and retailers may face losses on over 600,000 unsold vehicles. This is due to unclear GST compensation cess rules. The industry wants the government to abolish the cess. They seek a mechanism for credit losses after the GST revamp. The GST Council will discuss levy changes soon. Some companies are limiting dispatches of larger vehicles. Capital Markets Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has cleared the initial public offering plans of 13 companies, including consumer electronics maker Imagine Marketing Limited, the parent of wearables brand Boat, home services provider Urban Company, and renewable power producer Juniper Green Energy Limited. At least 53 other IPO applications remain under review, according to SEBI filings. For companies like Boat, the confidential filing regime offers a key advantage. Unlike the traditional process, where IPOs must launch within 12 months of SEBI's approval, the new route provides 18 months and allows adjustments of up to 50% in issue size until the updated prospectus stage. The 56th GST Council meeting, chaired by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, begins on September 3rd and will end on September 4th. Expectation is running high about the possible rationalization of rates. The Council is expected to do away with the 12% and 28% GST slabs and keep a two-rate structure of 18% and 5%. A 40% GST slab for sin products such as tobacco and other luxury products is expected as well. India's goods and services tax undergoes a major overhaul 8 years after its launch, with the GST Council approving significant rate cuts on numerous everyday items. Effective September 22nd, the new rates aim to boost consumption by shifting to a two-slab structure of 5% and 18%, abolishing the 12% and 28% rates. Any daily use goods will become cheaper from September 22nd. Food items, consumer goods and renewable energy devices will see reduced tax rates. However, sin goods and luxury items will remain under higher taxation. Coal will be taxed at a higher rate. Restaurants and lottery services faced revised rules. Initial public offerings of India's shadow banks face challenges. Several firms, including SK Finance and Belstar Microfinance, shelved their IPO plans. Investors are wary due to rising bad loans and economic uncertainty. Other lenders like Veritas Finance and iFinance delay their offerings. Concerns about unsecured loans and US tariffs add to the pressure. The Securities and Exchange Board of India has officially notified the framework for intraday position limits monitoring in equity index derivatives. Under the new framework, SEBI has laid down clear quantitative thresholds. The intraday net position limit has been fixed at Rs 5,000 crore, while the intraday gross position limit has been capped at Rs 10,000 crore. These limits are expected to provide a balance between enabling adequate trading flexibility and safeguarding the market against potential volatility triggered by oversized positions. Urban Company, India's largest home services marketplace, has set the price band for its upcoming initial public offering at Rs 98 to Rs 103 a share, valuing the offer at up to Rs 1,900 crore. The IPO opens for subscription on September 10th and will close on September 12th, with the anchor book slated to open a day earlier. The IPO comes at a time when the company's backers are looking for multifold gains. Founders Abhiraj Singh Bal, Raghav Chandra and Varun Khaitan, who each hold Rs 9.77 crore shares acquired at negligible cost, now see their stakes valued at more than Rs 1,000 crore each. NPCI has increased the per transaction and 24-hour aggregate UPI limits for specific categories effective September 15, 2025. Capital markets, insurance and government e-marketplace transactions now have a Rs 5 lakh per transaction limit and a Rs 10 lakh daily limit. Credit card payments and collections will also see increased limits, enhanced convenience for high-value transactions with verified merchants. Meesho, the SoftBank-backed e-commerce firm, has created over 1 million job opportunities. These jobs are available through its seller network and logistics space. This initiative is ahead of the festive season. Most of these jobs are in Tier 3 and Tier 4 cities. The company generated 5.5 lakh jobs through its seller network. Around 6.7 lakh jobs are in the logistics sector. Bank of Baroda has declared the loan accounts of Reliance Communications Limited and its former director Anil Ambani as fraud. This decision, communicated in a letter dated September 2, 2025, prompted Reliance Communications to announce that it will seek legal counsel to determine its next steps in response to this classification. The banking system is set to receive a liquidity boost of Rs 62,000 crore with the first phase of the CRR cut taking effect, injecting funds ahead of the festive season. This move aims to improve monetary transmission and stimulate economic activity, potentially leading to lower deposit and lending rates. The government has officially appointed Shri Nitin Gupta as the new chairperson of the National Financial Reporting Authority or NFRA. His appointment has been made effective from 23rd July 2025 and will be for a tenure of 3 years or until he attains the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. Alongside the chairperson, the government has also appointed Ms. Smita Jingran, Shri P. Daniel and Shri Sushil Kumar Jaiswal as full-time members of NFRA. This move strengthens the leadership and decision-making framework of the authority, ensuring that it has experienced professionals to guide its functioning. Elon Musk's Starlink has inched closer to the commercial rollout of satellite broadband services in the country, having secured provisional spectrum for trials. The company must now build landing stations, hardware that connects satellites to terrestrial networks, and demonstrate compliance with Indian security norms before proceeding towards commercial rollout. The reduction in GST rates to 18% from 28% will lead to a price correction of around 8.5% in small cars and between 3.5% and 6.7% for large sedans, mid-size and large SUVs. The increased affordability following the simplification in the GST rates will allow auto buyers to move up the value chain and opt for more premium products. Buyers will tend to choose premium options as the resultant benefits reduce the price difference between variants of a same model and even between two segments of cars. SoftBank reduced its stake in Ola Electric, joining other investors like Tiger Global and Hyundai in trimming holdings. Despite this, Ola Electric secured PLI scheme certification, potentially easing financial pressures. The company reported lower revenue and increased losses in Q1, attributed to heightened competition and weaker demand, with shares closing down 6.3%. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman asserts that the GST revamp is a significant taxation reform poised to positively impact India's economy. While not directly addressing tariff challenges, it offers a cushion. The government is also working on supporting tariff-hit sectors with potential measures expected soon, particularly for textiles. Tesla's board has proposed a groundbreaking compensation plan for CEO Elon Musk, potentially valued at $1 trillion if ambitious targets are met. This unprecedented package highlights Tesla's confidence in Musk's leadership as the company transitions into a technology powerhouse with a focus on AI and autonomous systems. However, Tesla faces challenges such as declining sales in Europe due to Musk's political affiliations and intensifying competition from rivals like BYD. French company Dassault Aviation has become the majority owner of Dassault Reliance Aerospace, its joint venture with Reliance Aerostructure, with a 51% stake after it picked up 2% for Rs 175.96 crore. After the transaction, Reliance Aerostructure's stake will fall to 49% and DRAL will shift from being a subsidiary to an associate company of Reliance Infrastructure and a subsidiary of Dassault Aviation. Dassault Aviation is engaged in business of military and business jets and is the manufacturer and integrator of Rafale and Falcon aircraft, as well as manufacturer of airframes and subsystems of these aircrafts. Dassault Aviation has a market capitalization of Rs 2 lakh crore and holds cash reserves of Rs 80,000 crore. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, has notified the SEBI Infrastructure Investment Trust Third Amendment Regulations 2025, introducing key reforms to enhance transparency, governance and accountability of InvITs. Under the amended regulations, the manager of an InvIT is now required to submit quarterly report to the trustee on the activities of the InvIT within the timeline specified by SEBI for submission of quarterly financial results. Earlier, this reporting had to be completed within 30 days from the end of the quarter. The alignment with financial result timelines ensures uniformity and timely dissemination of information. Vedanta won the bid for Jai Prakash Associates with a Rs 17,000 crore offer. It outbid Adani Enterprises in the insolvency battle. The deal involves major cement facilities. Only Vedanta and Adani submitted binding offers. Other suitors like Jindal Power and Dalmia Bharat did not participate. The Committee of Creditors will review Vedanta's winning bid. The resolution process for Jai Prakash Associates faced delays. Tata Motors announced on Friday that it will reduce prices across its vehicle range by up to Rs 1.55 lakh, passing on the full benefit of the GST reduction to customers. Effective September 22, 2025, the price cuts will vary, with models like the Tiago seeing a reduction of Rs 75,000 and the Harrier experiencing a decrease of Rs 1,40,000.
This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.